All right. Hello, my name is Grace LaFramboise. I'm here with our team today. We're going to be doing the Patron tequila analysis.
So, company foundations, Patron Tequila, the world's #1 premium tequila, is a natural, additive-free tequila made using the highest quality of ingredients and environmentally friendly processes. They use eco-friendly reverse osmosis irrigation system um, for the agave byproduct that they recycle, and they're the first tequila distillery to install a natural gas pipeline as a main energy source, which helps reduce CO2 emissions. Overall, like Patron's largest goal is to make great tequila while still being good for the environment. Their social and environmental responsibility states, quote, limiting the environmental impact of their tequila production is and always will be something they hold in the highest regard at Patron. They do this through recycling water, reducing emissions, and ensuring agave sustainability. They also pride themselves on their social responsibility to pay fair wages and support philanthropic and charitable organizations.
Okay, so next up, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the SWOT analysis that I did of Patron. So I'm just going to go through every letter here. So the first letter is S, which is strengths. Patron is known to have a very strong online presence, whether it's social media or even looking up their website. It's very easy to use. People even just, it's like a word of mouth thing. People will say Patron instead of tequila. So it's just a common use in language. It's very high quality products. The company does a really good job of conveying the process of how the tequila is made to the public too. It's a household name. And then lastly, it's pretty reasonable pricing for luxury silver tequila alongside their other competitors. So next up, we're going to talk about the W, which is weaknesses. The company has been known for poor waste management, so they haven't been environmentally friendly, but they do make it clear that they are working to strive towards being better at that. I've also heard of the poor customer service just from their end. And what kind of ties into that is that Patron is obviously an alcohol, so the company can only put so much out about saying drink at your own risk. But sometimes people will take that to an extreme, and sometimes it could be blamed on the company. And then once again, the pricing in comparison to their competitors. Next up, we're going to talk about O for opportunities. Their goal is to continue to build an online presence directed to younger generations. I think any company nowadays is trying to appeal to all generations. And a big part of that with Gen Z in particular is having that online presence, as I was saying, with their social media, continuing to build that and get their name out there. Next is to advertise as affordable luxury tequila. So it's something that people can have in their house. It's not just this something that's completely unachievable. You can buy it. And then finally, as a result of the weakness, they're working to improve their sustainability. And then the last letter, which is T for threats. This is another issue that is big with so many other companies today, but inflation in the economy. Next up is competitors in the business. Don Julio is their biggest competitor. I thought that this was really interesting, but the biggest difference between Don Julio and Patron is how they make the actual tequila, which for Don Julio, they cut the heart of the agave plant versus Patron, they crush the agave. So it results in a different taste and can make them kind of be neck and neck in terms of being on the market.
Mobile Force. This is the driving philosophy at Patron, which has taken the alcoholic beverage from a college drink of choice to an upscale household brand name. Patron has launched a virtual reality experience that immerses the viewers into the world of Patron. Consumers can get a 360 view of the distillery, its processes, which they use to make the tequila, the beautiful agave fields, and the surrounding landscape. Patron has worked with brands like Amazon to launch Patron Skills. This isn't a feature that's on Alexa, which provides drink recommendations, and they have 150 different recipes for delicious Patron cocktails. The mobile first strategy has not only spread the brand awareness and education to consumers and drive sales, the strategies with VR is a mobile that they use to push their attitudes that they want the audience to see, like quality, the craftsmanship, and luxury.
Well, okay. So to continue that conversation that Jordan was just talking about, we're going to next talk about Patron collaborators. So in January of 2018, Patron tequila was sold to Bacardi, which is a very high up and well-known alcoholic distributor as well. The world's largest privately held spirit company. Patron was sold for $5.1 billion. So obviously this was a very big move for the company. And since then they've only grown and gone up. So the first collab I'm going to talk about, it is titled Venture into the Darkness of Patron ex Guillermo del Toro. And when you go to Patron's website and look up this collab, the title of it is going to say Sip Simply. So this picture up here towards the left, this is a picture of it. You can see it kind of has like those darker colors. It's like the kind of black magic type of thing from what I was getting from it. But Del Toro is one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. He is a Latino man, and he has honored Hispanic heritage in so many of his films. So this was a really great collaboration between the company and him. And he's a really big name too. So it meant a lot. The product, it's the signature Patron bottle that holds a blend of aged tequilas averaging 5 years in oak barrels. The bottle is crowned by a skull holding an aged orange liqueur that complements the tequila's symphony of dark flavors. So that was how they described it on the website. Once again, up at that upper left photo, that is the picture of the product. And so that was a really big part in Patron's marketing and how they have gotten their name, continue to get their name out there. But another really big one that has happened very recently was that Patron was announced as the first official global spirits partner of Oracle Red Bull Racing Team. This is back in May of this year. You can see the other photo up here at the top. That's a picture from that campaign. They had, when I looked it up, they had a whole video clip to promote it. So they're showing F1 racers, people from Oracle, people from Patron, everybody who has a say in this collab. So a quote from that same clip says, bringing two iconic leading brands together to create a simply perfect partnership for the most passionate Formula One fans. And I thought that this was just such a great campaign because in particular, F1 has gotten so popular within the last year or so. They had the show on Netflix and all that type of stuff. So it has become very mainstream. And to have that collab now with an alcohol company has been great for the brand. So a really strong marketing move. And then I thought it was interesting as well. They had the video ended with the never drink and drive message. So it just kind of tied a little bow on it.
All right. The competitors that Patron has, there's plenty of them because there's tons of different tequila brands nowadays with different athletes that have come out with tequila brands. And just the majority of the companies that have been recently started too are all upcoming brands. But the major one is obviously Jose Cuervo and Don Julio. And for Don Julio, they've sold 1.5 million cases since 2018. And that's doubled for them in 2022. Double-digit growth, reaching 3.2 million cases in the year. So Jose Cuervo has also grown a lot compared to Patron, who's also, or compared to Don Julio as well, and 16% growth there too, with 9 million case threshold last year. Jose Cuervo is owned by I'm trying to pronounce it right. Promeo Spirits. I don't know. Which has been doing really well recently as well. So those are the two major brands, but there's also brands like Casamigos, which has like really substantially grown, and 1800 Tequila that has just like they seem to be coming in with like a little bit of a different audience than Patron because of Patron's high luxury. But those are the two main competitors with plenty more as well.
So, consumers of Patron mainly include young adults who drink tequila and are kind of looking for something fancy and higher end because they do consider themselves the world's #1 premium tequila. Their modern marketing is geared towards adults, I think, kind of more aged to like 21 to 35. They refer to their target audience and personas as the bros and nos, which Jordan's going to get into. And the bros are the young people just kind of looking to drink, and the nos are those like mid 20, early 40 kind of tequila enthusiasts.
So thanks for touching on the bros and the nos. So the bros and nos are the two different main target audience groups that Patron likes to use. So the nos is a group of consumers around the mid 20s range, and it goes a little higher. So they're a more experienced drinker group, and they tend to be a little bit more of like connoisseurs when it comes to craft cocktails. They're externally influenced by bartenders, indie culture, and their fellow peers. They aim to create an identity based on their choice of drink. The bros are a little bit more of a novice drinker who aren't as passionate about the brand and might lack overall like knowledge of the crafts and the craft cocktails. This group is targeted by word of mouth and pop culture. They want the luxury and status symbol that drinking a high quality liquor might bring them when they're out on the town.
Okay, next up, I'm going to talk about Patron positioning strategies. So as we've all talked about now at this point, Patron is viewed as a luxury alcohol. But the real question here is, how did Patron originally establish this reputation and continue now to maintain it today? So Lee Applebaum, Patron's CMO or Chief Marketing Officer, he is the guy pictured up here at the top. He had an interview with Forbes magazine. The writer, his name's Joseph McAuliffe, regarding the future of the company of Patron. So Applebaum talks about remaining transparent with their customer base and communicating all steps of the tequila creation process, so customers know that they are getting the most luxurious experience. I thought that this was really the main highlight of the interview, because the whole interview was transcribed, but just to see how consistent Lee was and always bringing it back to being so incredibly transparent about what goes into the process of this tequila, I think is really what makes it so special. So along the note of that, what makes Patron ultra premium is a combination of our raw materials and our meticulous production process. So that is what Lee said. One of the lines that Lee said in the interview, the word that I really loved and I highlighted down there as well is meticulous. This makes it seem so personalized, because even though Patron is one of the biggest alcohol distributors here in the world, they still make the process of making it very special, and they want to make it good for their customer base. So Applebaum says at least 60 hands touch every bottle of Patron before it leaves the distillery. I thought that that was a very significant little statistic that he said. Once again, making it feel very personable, and better for the customer, of course. Patron has long-term contracts with families who grow the agave, which helps the company build meaningful and lasting relationships. This feels very homegrown, although the company is mass producing products. So all these things that I just said, these are all just little examples of why Patron is the company that it is today, and how that they have really done such a great job of maintaining their strong reputation on the market.
Jordan did kind of touch on this already with the marketing, but Patron's like more recent branding is really focused on being more technology forward. Jordan said they partnered with Amazon Alexa, so consumers can ask Alexa to create a drink using Patron. They created a VR experience for consumers to experience the Patron distillery firsthand. This isn't exclusive to just like VR. Like I think you can do it like via your phone and other technology. Their marketing is really aimed towards kind of that young tech savvy audience. They chose VR because it's still expanding and they think that they can get ahead of VR marketing before it expands into more than just a visual tool. And their website is super like clean and modern. And so I really think it kind of goes with that whole modern new aesthetic.
Ed Brown is the current CEO. And in 2018, it was already mentioned by Grace earlier, but they were sold to Bacardi for $5.1 billion. DeHoria, who is also credited with co-founding the Paul Mitchell hair products, entered the tequila industry. It was described when I looked it up as impulsively, but he asked Martin Crowley in 1989 to bring him some tequila when he was visiting Mexico. And he made a presentation about owning their own tequila, and they've had their own bottle ever since.
So in conclusion, Patron is a powerhouse brand when it comes to integrated marketing campaigns. They have embraced the internet using their mobile-first philosophy. They've partnered with award-winning filmmakers and collaborated with big brands like Amazon and Red Bull Racing. Patron has done what all brands hope to achieve, become not only the #1 best-selling alcohol, but become a widespread household name. Patron has perfected their integrated marketing campaign and should be a model for all other brands looking to take their business to the next level.
So, thank you.